The first time I went to an NHL game, it was the Seattle Kraken back in 2022. I was blown away by the production value and I had fun watching it with my friends, but I walked away thinking, hey, maybe this hockey thing isn't for me. This is pretty hilarious in hindsight, considering that in the past year alone, I've flown from Seattle to Idaho, Montreal, Boston, Minnesota, New York, and have even taken commuter rail to Bridgeport, Connecticut, just to watch hockey games. How did I get here? Well, the Kraken game piqued my interest enough that when the USA versus Canada women's hockey teams came to play in Seattle in 2022, I went to go check it out. Sure enough, when you add women to something, it becomes substantially better. Even so, this game didn't trigger my full-blown obsession with women's hockey, but it fueled my interest enough that when the PWHL started on New Year's Day 2024, I decided to check it out. And that's when everything changed. How was the PWHL created? Let's begin our story at the 2018 Winter Olympics. We're in the gold medal game. On our left, we have Hilary Knight, who plays for the US, and on our right is Marie-Philippe Poulin, who plays for Canada. At the time, each of these players are the face of women's hockey in their respective countries. This game was pretty crazy, but it ended up going in favor of the US. The USA women's hockey team received a lot of love in this moment, and Hilary Knight even went on SNL to rep the US national team.
I already got a friend who said she'd give me a few pointers. Hey, Hilary. Yeah!
However, despite women's hockey being famous during Olympic years, it was hard to build investment in the off years, so let's fast forward to 2019. At this time, there's two top women's hockey leagues in North America. There's a Canadian Women's Hockey League and a National Women's Hockey League in the USA. Let's head to Montreal. So Twitter user @HabsXMontreal says, when you're in a competition for the gayest team and your opponent is Les Canadiens. Pause the video here. Do you recognize anybody in this picture? On the left, we have Marie-Philippe Poulin. This is no surprise considering that she's from Quebec, but what's weird is that Hilary Knight is also in this photo. If Hilary Knight is the face of women's hockey in America, then why is she choosing to play in Canada? Here's a full quote from Hilary. One of the reasons she cited for playing in Canada was that the level of competition was higher, so it prepared her better for international competition. So at this time, you have some of the best women's hockey players in the world trying to play in the CWHL. But they only started getting paid in 2017, and even then, each player only earned a max of $10,000, which is clearly not sustainable for a player's income. In March 2019, the CWHL folds. Well, there's still the NWHL, right? Wrong. The NWHL still exists, but some players, such as Hilary Knight, don't think this is a viable solution. The players' announcement stressed cross-border unity and cited the obstacles they'd had to contend with in being paid as little as $2,000 a year and also having to pay for their own health insurance. The Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, the PWHPA, was created in 2019. They organized exhibition leagues to showcase their on-ice product and work towards the creation of a financially sustainable professional league. It wasn't until the summer of 2023 that Mark Walter bought out the PHF, previously known as the NWHL. The Players Association negotiated an average salary of $55,000 and benefits such as health insurance, per diems, housing stipends, and parental leave. The puck dropped for the inaugural season of the PWHL on New Year's Day 2024. The PWHL broke the pro women's hockey attendance record twice in its first week. Then it broke the attendance record again. And then it broke it again. Mind you, the league was thrown together in about 6 months, so the teams didn't even have team names or jerseys yet. So there's a quick history about how the PWHL was created. But what makes this league so fun? Well, it has hockey and it has women, which is already a pretty strong start. But there's even more to love. First of all, there's only 6 teams, so it makes the league very easy to follow, and there's also a lot of parity between teams, meaning that on any given day, either team can win. The international women's hockey landscape is like a competition, with the point being to see who's the best. But the Professional Women's Hockey League introduced a number of rule changes which turns women's hockey into a game, encouraging rivalries, drama, and unpredictability.
We're playing a game. This is not just a competition anymore. This is a game. They have turned this into a game. We were voting for each other to go out, and now you're trying to say that it's just a competition and not a game?
One of the most fun innovations is that the first seed in the playoffs gets to pick their opponent between the third and the fourth seeds. This led to one of the craziest PWHL moments of 2024 when the first seed, Toronto, picked fourth seed Minnesota as their opponent and ended up getting reverse swept by Minnesota. The PWHL also allows more types of body contact than in the International Women's Game, which leads to spicier games. The league also introduced rule innovations that are different than the NHL, such as the jailbreak rule, which allows a team on the penalty kill to free their player from the box if they score a shorthanded goal. The league is even experimenting with draft order rules, implementing the gold plan, which means that the last place teams can't tank in order to get the first draft pick. They have to keep winning games after being eliminated from playoff contention. If you're a new hockey fan, the play-by-play and color commentary can really shape how you experience a game. The PWHL broadcast team, which is mostly women, creates a unique hockey viewing experience, which is much different from watching an NHL game. If you want to become a PWHL fan, all you have to do is watch it and you'll naturally become a fan. I also recommend the Jocks and Jills podcast if you want to learn more about happenings around the league and see interviews with players. I hope this has inspired you to check out what I think is the most exciting league in pro sports right now. And in case you're curious, here's my favorite goal of the inaugural PWHL season.
Boston, Minnesota. Inaugural PWHL Finals. Mueller with a chance here for Boston, and she scores!